Several explosions heard in Kiev as Ukrainian authorities warn of incoming ballistic missiles. Death toll from magnitude 7.7 earthquake and dozens of aftershocks in Indonesia rises to 47. Survivors spend their nights in cramped evacuation tents. Belgium tackles largest wildfire on record with army firefighting engines deployed and help coming from the EU and neighboring Germany and Luxembourg. Three people dead, one missing after a massive landslide struck Arunachal Pradesh's upper Subansiri district. Continuous rainfall, unstable terrain further complicate the rescue operation. The West Burj Khalifa lights up in the colors of the Indian flag to mark India's 80th Independence Day. Massive crowds assemble at the skyscraper. Iran has demanded Qatar to release 3 of its pilots whose aircraft went down during the first couple of weeks of the West Asia War. According to reports, the Iranian armed forces say that 3 Iranian pilots have been captured alive by Qatari forces after their Su-24 fighter jets crashed during the war. In a letter addressed to the International Committee of the Red Cross, the Iranian armed forces allege that the pilots have not been allowed to meet or contact their families. Iran earlier reported that 1 pilot has been killed and several others have been missing after a sortie to Qatar. However, the news of their alleged capture had not been publicized at the time. Qatar, in response, have hit back at the allegations. The country's foreign ministry has categorically denied the claims. They also added that they are surprised by these misleading statements. Doha also said that they have carried out their duties to the fullest while searching for the pilots. Meanwhile, Iran hit back at the U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that he would soon declare the Strait of Hormuz as part of the United States. Iran said that the blockaded strait will remain Iranian, while adding that the Strait of Hormuz will only be closed opened under Iran's command. Earlier, Trump made the comments during a political rally in New York. However, an unnamed White House official quoted by the Wall Street clarified that Trump had been joking. Amidst all this, Iran's foreign ministry said that it has reached an agreement with Oman on a shipping route map after weeks of technical negotiations. According to reports, both sides have made positive progress over the past 3 weeks, and an agreement has been reached on the shipping route map. The Iranian Foreign Ministry said that a statement is awaited from Tehran and Muscat. Meanwhile, the United States has pulled out of its last aircraft carrier from the Pacific as Washington diverts its full attention to Iran amid growing tensions from China. The USS George Washington has departed the Pacific and would replace the USS Abraham Lincoln in West Asia. The replacement comes amid growing concerns about mental health and supply issues aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. And amid the ongoing stalemate over the Strait of Hormuz between the U.S. and Iran, the tension shifted to other strategic choke point, Bab el-Mandeb. Houthi missile attack forced Yemen's Mocha port to shut it down. Yemen's Mocha port has suspended commercial and maritime operations after a series of missile attacks. Port officials say more than 25 missiles hit the strategic Red Sea port in the recent days. The attacks killed 7 people and caused an estimated $16 million in losses. The attacks have raised fresh concerns about security in the Red Sea.
Ships are now seeking alternative routes around the Cape of Good Hope, which incurs massive costs and significantly longer journeys, maybe over a month.
Mocha is a strategically crucial port on Yemen's western coast. It lies close to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The strait connects the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden, but it also is one of the world's key shipping routes. Yemen's military says the Iran-backed Houthi rebels carried out attacks. The Houthis say they targeted a military buildup in Mocha. They claim the site included weapons and warships blocking Saudi-backed forces. The attacks comes as regional tensions remain high across West Asia. Now, the latest attacks on Mocha could put further pressure on an already fragile security situation. Any disruption around the Bab el-Mandeb Strait would affect global shipping and regional supply chains. Geopolitical experts say the escalation reflects how Iran is increasing pressure on the United States and its regional allies using its proxies. Moving on, several explosions have been heard in Kiev after Ukrainian authorities warned of incoming ballistic missiles. Now, Russia has increasingly been using long-range missiles in its grinding war against Ukraine. Kiev has responded by carrying out drone strike deep inside Russian territory in recent weeks. Kiev mayor confirmed the explosion, saying that the Ukrainian capital was under ballistic attack. Soon after, Kiev mayor said that the Ukrainian authorities said a fire broke out in a non-residential building in the capital's Obolonsky district without specifying any casualties. Meanwhile, Russia fended off another drone swarm approaching its capital. Moscow mayor said in a series of posts on state-backed Max platform that Russian forces downed around 28 drones. Earlier, Ukraine had a military airfield and a rocket science the rocket center that supports the Russian Starlink-style satellite internet network. Meanwhile, Moscow is demanding answers from Washington and Ankara about a potential plan to send to Kiev a substantial arsenal of U.S. weapons and ammunition held by Ukraine. As hostilities continue, Germany, France, and UK are developing their own format for negotiations on ending the Russia-Ukraine war. According to the New York Times, which cited European officials, the 3 countries fear that U.S. President Donald Trump could exclude them from any negotiations on ending the war. They have therefore decided to join forces to ensure that Europe has a seat at the negotiating table. Moroccan people have arrested more than 100 people attempting to reach Spain's North African territory in Ceuta after calls on social media for another mass crossing. The latest attempt comes just weeks after a huge migrant surge into Ceuta left dozens dead and triggered a major security response. Moroccan authorities say 111 people were arrested near the border city of Fnidek on Saturday. The group included 109 migrants from sub-Saharan Africa and 2 Moroccan citizens. Police used tear gas to disperse groups gathered on hills near the border, while hundreds of officers, including riot police, were deployed in the area. The operation follows online calls for a new mass crossing into Ceuta on 15th of August. Authorities had already warned against such attempts and tightened security along roads leading to the border. In Ceuta, Spain has deployed more than 1,600 police officers and installed a maritime barrier to prevent further sea crossings. The security crackdown follows a massive migrant surge in late July when more than 72,000 people entered Ceuta, according to Spanish figures. According to latest reports, at least 96 people have died trying to reach European soil. Thousands of migrants are still in Ceuta, including unaccompanied minors who have been sleeping in makeshift shelters and abandoned facilities.
We do not know. We do not know how long we are going to live like this. People are dying. There are people who went without food for 4 days because they had closed us in. People are in a terrible condition. Some have diabetes and some have been injured. Now we are waiting. They had cut off the water from us. No food, no water, nothing. But now we do not know how much longer we are going to remain like this. Whether it will be 2 months or 3 months, we still do not know.
Spanish authorities say most people who entered irregularly will be returned to Morocco, except in cases involving extreme vulnerability. Morocco and Spain are now maintaining a heavy security presence to prevent another mass crossing and further loss of life. The rescue work continues in Indonesia after a powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake struck off the eastern Flores Island, killing at least 47 people and injuring dozens more. Rescue teams are searching collapsed buildings for survivors, but their efforts are being hampered by landslides, blocked roads, and disrupted communications. The quake struck early Saturday morning, with the epicenter just off the northern coast of Flores. Indonesia's disaster management agency says at least 47 people have died, while around 50 others are injured. Nearly 160 homes, along with schools, health facilities, and other public buildings have been damaged. Officials fear more people could still be trapped under the rubble as rescue teams struggle to reach some of the worst-hit areas. Around 2,000 people have been evacuated.
We started evacuating to the Regent's office and then we were moved here, and until now not a single tent was given to us. We're very disappointed because the newcomers should also be given tents, but we haven't got any. We have 2 babies here and they're asleep, so they are sleeping in the morning dew. Please pity them. The government should pay attention to these things.
Many people are taking shelter in temporary camps. A tsunami warning issued after the earthquake was later lifted. However, authorities have urged people to stay away from damaged buildings as strong aftershocks continue. More than 200 aftershocks have been recorded, including one above magnitude 6. Residents describe scenes of panic as the ground shook violently. The quake also triggered landslides and disrupted power and telecommunications across parts of Flores. In Uteng, one of the residents said that the shaking was so intense that it felt like being on a trampoline. At a nearby hospital, patients were treated outside in emergency tents while authorities assessed the damage. Aid is now being rushed to the affected areas. The Indonesian government has sent 50,000 relief packages, with the European Union has offered satellite support for search and rescue operations. Indonesia lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the world's most active earthquake zones. In a separate development, a magnitude 6.9 earthquake struck western Sumatra later on Saturday. There were no immediate reports of casualties or major damage, and no tsunami warning was issued. Well, monsoon continues to wreak havoc across several parts of India, with relentless rain triggering floods, landslides, and widespread destruction. In Arunachal Pradesh's Upper Subansiri district, 3 people were killed and 1 person went missing after a massive landslide struck. According to the district disaster management officer, rescue operations are underway to find the missing person who is trapped under the debris. The landslide has also severely disrupted road connectivity in the area, with heavy debris and water blocking sky stretches of the road. In the Bang Valley, District 5 Army personnel are reportedly missing after a flash flood washed away 2 shelters at an army camp. In neighboring Anjar district, heavy rain has triggered a flood-like situation affecting another army camp and further disrupting the area. Meanwhile, an active landslide in Gyalching district has put more than 150 people at risk, prompting the administration to launch rescue and relief operations. Landslide began on Friday night in Rimbi Singleton area of Yuksam and continues to move, threatening homes and farmland. According to authorities, 30 households in Rimbi and 8 in Singleton have been identified as falling within the affected zone, with vulnerable families being moved to safer locations. In Odisha, flood situation remains grim as incessant rainfall continues to inundate several parts of the state. According to State Emergency Operations Center, 6 districts have been severely affected, impacting around 2.7 lakh people, and also said that around 95,000 people have been evacuated to shelters so far. Furthermore, Himachal Pradesh continues to reel under the impacts of relentless monsoon rains, with the prolonged spell taking a heavy toll across the state. Official data shows that 183 people have died in monsoon-related incidents and road accidents over the past 47 days, while accumulative damage has crossed 972 crore rupees. The devastation has also left hundreds injured and disrupted infrastructure across several districts. India's national capital, New Delhi, is eyeing a major real estate overhaul by 2047. Branded Delhi Master Plan 2047, the plan proposes a mix of smaller homes, rental housing, redevelopment, and new growth centers in the national capital. The Delhi Development Authority approved the master plan for Delhi 2047 on the 12th of August. The blueprint will now be sent to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs for financial approval and notification. But why the year 2047? Well, by then, Delhi's population is expected to reach or approach 32 million, creating a need for nearly 4 million additional homes, and the plan seeks to address the modern urban conundrum, growing population and shrinking households. It proposes homes with carpet areas ranging from 25 to 60 square meters. It also addresses the issue of skyrocketing rents beyond housing, and plan seeks to link homes and with mobility, infrastructure, jobs, and the environment. It also identifies the need for more rental housing, particularly for students and younger workforce, by incentivizing building of hostels, shared dormitories, and dedicated worker housing. And for developers and investors, the plan could open up opportunities in affordable housing, redevelopment, and transit-linked projects while putting utilized urban land back into use. The DDA began drafting the master plan after the previous MPD 2021 expired. The proposed MPD 2041, now being rebranded as MPD 2047, Delhi's first master plan was introduced in 1962 under the Delhi Development Act 1957. Subsequent plans followed in 2001 and 2021. Each plan was designed with a 20-year outlook. The MPD is likely to increase housing supply under the transit-oriented development policy, which allows the construction of high-rise buildings along metro and rail corridors. Its corridor-based approach opens up an area of 270 square kilometers, 500 meters on either side of the metro corridors, and 500-meter radius of railway stations. Another significant change will be in 70 villages on the city's periphery through a green development area framework, mainly in areas like Tikri, Kalan, and Mitraun, as well as areas with famous houses such as Mehroli, Chhatarpur, and Sadbari. Apart from this, the DDA has also banned the construction of any concrete structure in the core area of the Yamuna floodplain. In the remaining area, which will be part 2, only recreational activities will be allowed.
At least
France's Champagne region is beginning its grape harvest at the earliest point on record, after a summer of intense heat and drought accelerated the ripening of grapes and put vineyards under severe water stress. The shift is more than just a change in the calendar. Growers are now dealing with smaller grapes, potentially lower yields, and concerns over how a warming climate could change the character of champagne itself. Now, the official harvest window opens 15th of August, with widespread picking expected between 20th and 25th of August. Now, that is roughly 10 to 15 days earlier than usual and potentially the earliest harvester in Champagne's recorded history. Earlier reports had also pointed to some sites beginning around the month earlier than the typical several decades ago. The reason is extreme weather. Weeks of heat and drought have accelerated grape ripening while limiting water available to the vines. The grapes are developing more quickly, but they are not necessarily growing bigger. Champagne growers are currently forecasting yields about 10% lower than last year because of the heat and lack of water. And timing matters enormously for sparkling wine. Heat pushes up the sugar content of the grapes. If grapes stay on the vine too long, that can mean higher potential alcohol and changes in flavor, while champagne also needs enough acidity for its characteristic freshness. So growers are being forced to make a difficult calculation, harvest early enough to protect balance and quality, while accepting that the crop may be smaller. Now, there's another number to watch. The champagne industry has set the 2026 marketable yield at 8,800 kilograms per hectare, down from 9,000 in 2025 and 10,000 in 2024. Now, what is the fourth consecutive year the authorized yield has been reduced? The 2026 level corresponds to roughly 250 million bottles. And this is where the bigger climate story comes in. Earlier harvests are becoming increasingly common across French vineyards as temperatures rise. In 2026, some parts of France began picking in mid-July, with some harvests starting as much as 2 weeks earlier last year. For Champagne, a region historically suited to cooler climate, that raises a longer-term question. How much can the region adapt before the climate begins changing the wine itself? A humanoid robot traffic officer joins the front line in Wuhu in East China's Anhui province, named Intelligent Police Unit R001. The AI-powered robot is designed to assist human traffic officers with the intersection coordination, traffic monitoring, and public guidance. The robot is integrated with Wuhu's traffic signal system. It can perform standard traffic command gestures synchronized with changing traffic lights. The robot can also move independently to the designated locations when instructed to. R001 is equipped with high-definition cameras, an intelligent voice broadcasting system. It can identify illegal parking and monitor road conditions along designated routes. The robot can also detect certain violations involving non-motorized vehicles and pedestrians and issue real-time voice warnings.
The robots are equipped with built-in multimodal recognition algorithms that enable them to identify traffic violations.
Now, the robot can provide safety warnings to road users. For example, it can remind cyclists to use non-motorized vehicle lanes when they are detected riding in motor vehicle lanes. Electric scooter riders who violate traffic rules can also receive real-time voice warning. Officials say the robot can operate around the clock. The continuous operation is intended to reduce the workload of human traffic officers, particularly during peak hours or in extreme weather conditions. The robot is described as an assistant to human officers. Alright, with that, we call a wrap to World Day for today. News and updates will follow on the other side. You're watching WION The World. This one, stay tuned.
what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
Robots sparring for a fight, not for entertainment or for sport. Surgical arms that can feel to give surgeons a sense of touch. Traditional warships are facing flotillas of unmanned vessels. The smartwatch is passé, smart bands are just as effective at monitoring health. Put a ring on it this week on Take It Out at these times.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
Robots sparring for a fight, not for entertainment or for sport. Surgical arms that can feel to give surgeons a sense of touch. Traditional warships are facing flotillas of unmanned vessels. The smartwatch is passé, smart bands are just as effective at monitoring health. Put a ring on it this week on Take It Out at these times.